Welcome to the show. The microphone's over here. I didn't even get that. Jesus Christ. All right, let's try this again. Hey, everybody. Welcome to... Fuck me. Fuck me. Welcome to the show. Is that good enough? I don't know. Is that outtakes? Is this going to work? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the show. This is stupid. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, yo, I got next. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm the immortal Kevin Donovan, and I'm here to regale you with another story, a little bit of my life. Apparently, the mic was open, the camera's open. It's my turn. So, what do I want to talk about today? I guess I was going to talk about my college experience. I was going to let you know about what happened to me from when I graduated in my year in college, which was a lot of fun. Kinda. College was a lot of fun, but it was also an interesting experience. So we'll start from the beginning. So I went to Catholic High School in Binghamton, Seton Catholic Central, SCC Saints. Graduated in 1996. I'm old, I know. And I was one of the younger, or maybe the youngest in my class. I don't know. I was 17 when I graduated high school. My birthday's in late October. So my parents had to, does he go in and be one of the youngest kids in his class, or do you wait and then put him in and he's one of the older kids in his class? Well, they decided to put me in, which happened to be a year behind my sister. One sister, 1 year older than me, and she went to school and I went boop right after. So they wanted to kind of keep us together, which is all right. I mean, it didn't really give me any advantages. My sister and I are complete opposites, but anyway, I went through school. School was all right. I graduated high school. I didn't get honors or anything, but I did get accepted to a college, SUNY Canton College of Technology, or the College of Technology at SUNY Canton, because I believe they changed their name. So it was 1997, 96 turned 97, when I got into Canton. And one of the reasons I wanted to go there is I fancied myself an athlete. I was at the time. I just worked my ass off when it came to sports going into college. And they had a football team. They had a lacrosse team. Those were my two sports. Their football team, the head coach was actually Lou Saban, the Lou Saban from the 70s that coached the Bills, that guy. He was getting on in life. He was an older gentleman when I got there. But I signed up to play football at SUNY Canton, and they accepted me, and I went in. But football season, as y'all know, starts early. So I went in. You go in sometime in early August, early August, I think it was. And they opened the school up just to the athletes for the fall sports. So when I got there, it was football team, soccer team, girls sports. There was other teams going on. So it was it was a neat experience for me because I went up early. And there was, just the athletic teams that were up there. So they didn't have the full gamut of students. So when I moved into my dorm room, nobody was around. It was me and, 10 other guys on my floor, maybe. I think there was maybe 30 guys in the whole dorm. And they had 4 different dorms. And I was in the first one, and I think it was Smith Hall, I think was the name of it. I really don't recall. Maybe somebody from college can chime in, leave a comment, leave a comment, subscribe, please. But you can chime in and tell me if I'm getting these names wrong. I think I was in Smith Hall. I got to meet a lot of people right away, and they didn't do an orientation or anything right away. They waited till the school season began. So I had like a month of double sessions and practices and all kinds of stuff before the school started. So I kind of had the lay of the land, and I got in early, which was nice. As soon as I walked into the very first football meeting, it was crazy because there was a big lecture room that we went to, and Coach Saban was in there with all of his assistants. He had a bunch of assistants, and there's the line coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, blah blah blah. They had all those guys, and I went in there, and as soon as I walked in the room, everybody was like, "Huh? Who's this kid?" I looked like a small child. compared to the guys that were there to play football. The difference in football from a collegiate level, from either JUCO, D3 to D1, all those levels, it's not necessarily the size. Don't get me wrong. The bigger, stronger, faster guys are obviously going up in higher levels, but you still got monsters walking around playing football, even in JUCO, because it's a good avenue to a better university. Maybe you won't get accepted to your first or top 10 choices in universities, but it's real easy to get to a JUCO. They're a lot less strict on their grades and things like that. So a lot of guys can get into a JUCO, play for 2 years. You get experience on the college level for 2 years. You get 2 years of college level academics, and you can prove then to big colleges that you can handle the work, that you can perform on the field, that you can do all that stuff, and you're far more likely to get a 2-year scholarship to finish your school at a big university, which is a very good avenue that a lot of people don't know about for some reason, and they don't utilize, which you should. But the biggest difference is the speed that goes from, the big guys from JUCO and the big guys in D1. But they still big guys. They still real big guys. And I stood about, still 5'9", 185, 190 pounds, somewhere in there. But I was working out. I wasn't real chubby. I was lifting heavy all summer. I was running. I was trying to keep fit. And I was probably in the best shape athletically I could be at the time. And, man, I walked in that room and I felt like a 5-year-old kid walking into a pro locker room. It was wild. These guys just looked at me like, what are you doing here? They're like, a couple guys came up to me and like, hey, man, you lost? Because this is the football meeting. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm here to play football. I was 17 years old. I had a baby face. It was crazy. So we started playing football. We got into the practices. I, made all the meetings, all that. They gave us the playbook, the whole nine. And in my speed, in high school, I played an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman, and long snapper. You can't do that in college level. You can't be my size and play on an offensive or defensive line. You physically can't do that. They're way too big for you. So I had to change positions. So I was like, well, I could do one of two things with my size. I could be a safety on defense, strong safety, or I could be maybe a fullback or a running back. And I didn't really have the speed to be a defensive back. Wasn't fast enough for a cornerback because those wide receivers and cornerbacks are fast. I was just not that fast. So I was like, maybe I could be a safety or I could be a fullback or a running back. And I didn't really quite have the speed for a good running back or tailback. But I figured I could play fullback. They're usually the stockier guys that do a lot of blocking. They don't do a lot of ball handling. And I figured I'd go into offense and be a fullback. And that's the avenue I took. It was only a couple practices in that I realized I was outclassed and I shouldn't even be out there. But I was big enough, strong enough, and smart enough, skill-wise to defend myself on the field. I wasn't getting hurt. I was getting hit hard. Don't get me wrong, but I wasn't blown out of the water, so to speak. I was getting nailed pretty good, but I survived out there. And one day the coach is like, anybody can long snap? And I raised my hand and they all kind of looked at me funny again. And I was like, well, I can long snap. I did it in high school. And they're like, all right. And me and like two other guys were like, oh, we can long snap. The first guy that jumped in there was a decent sized guy, maybe 6'1", 6'2", probably around 225, good sized kid. But his long snaps were weak as shit. He was just throwing wounded ducks behind him. He could barely make a punter snap. And there's differences between punting snaps, fake snap, field goals, and special, trick plays and stuff. So there's different ways to do all those things, and he was not skill-wise very good at that. The other guy that jumped in there, he turned into be one of my best friends, Al. Al and I ended up getting in a lot of trouble in college. It was a lot of fun. Al was a big dude, 6'2", 250, big guy, kind of farm boy built, not real cut, just kind of a big farm boy build. Cool as shit, cool dude. I wouldn't say he was the brightest bulb in the tool shed or the, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But he was a great dude, and Al and I had a lot of fun. And his snapping, he had busted his arm. I don't know what happened. He hurt his wrist right off the bat. I'm not sure what happened. But his snaps are real weak too. He couldn't snap real well with a busted wing. And then they said, all right, Donovan, get in there. Let's see what you can do. And I jumped in, and I started throwing missiles because I was good at long snapping. That was one of the talents that I acquired in high school, and I was able to build up and be good at. And I was snapping bullets back. I was catching the trick play snaps. I could do the field goal snaps. I was sending missiles, and I was hitting I was hitting the punter right in the numbers, from 20 yards back, and I was just throwing missiles at him. Problem was I was only 5'9", 190 at best, and at that size you get blown out of the water. Now this is back in the mid-late 90s, 97. I don't know that they had the rule yet. I think maybe in college they had the rule that you couldn't put a nose tackle over the center. I think that was a college rule, but it definitely wasn't a rule in the pros yet, I don't think. They were like, yeah, man, we'll keep you as a backup, but we can't start you as a long snapper. We can't, you're good at it, but we can't have you out there, man. You just ain't big enough. You can get rolled over. So they put me on the dress list as the backup long snapper, and I tried out for fullback, and I went with the fullback crew, the offensive crew, the running backs and fullbacks, and we had our own coach. Went to do drills one day. This is early again, first couple days, and coach was like, all right, I'm going to show you guys what I want. You get over there, and he picked a guy to be a defensive person, and he's like, all right, somebody jump in here. Anybody. So I, wanting to get noticed and wanting to get recognized by the coaches and show them that I'm eager and I'm willing. Like in the movie Rudy, which I will reference the movie Rudy quite often. Watch the movie Rudy with, what's his name, Sean Astin, the guy from Lord of the Rings. He was Samwise Gamgee. He was also Rudy Rudiger. Awesome movie, loved it. So like Rudy, I jumped right into the drill. And the coach goes, no, get out of there. Not you. And I'm like, all right. So I step back. And he goes, all right, I'm going to show you guys something. I need anybody. Get in here. I'm just going to show you a demo. Get in here. Somebody get in here. So I was like, all right. And I jumped in again. And he goes, no, not you. And he pulls me out of there. And I was like, all right. Then he grabs a dude, puts him down, and he shows him how to, what play we were doing and where to go. He goes, I'm going to show you something else. All right, somebody get in there. Jump in there. Anybody. And I'm like, I jumped in again. And again, he's like, no, wait. Not you. Get out. And I'm like, Coach, you said anybody. We're just doing demos. We're not even hitting. I studied the playbook too. Like, let me try this. He's like, Donovan, get out of there. Whatever. So that's how my football experience went. Then we did a bunch of, we had full gear on, did a bunch of drills, and I held my own as best I could. I made a few good plays and I made a few bad plays. I showed the coaches that I really wanted to be in there. I went to them after practices and was like, what do you need me to do? What do I need to work on? And they're like, you need to work on your speed, but other than that, you need to be bigger. And that was pretty much my downfall in football. So I got into a bunch of drills. I got to mix it up with the boys. I got to really play, and I was trying to impress the coaches. And I they knew my name, they knew my face, they knew my number. They were calling me for drills. They were putting me in stuff. 50% of the time, I'd do really good, and 50% of the time, I'd get smoked, like smoked. Those boys hit hard. I thought I hit hard. Those boys hit hard. So I remember one time in practice, they said, we got to make a dummy defense. We're going to run the other plays teams, just like in Rudy. You guys get over there, and they picked a bunch of guys, and I jumped in because I didn't want to stand around and do nothing. This is an August day. It's hot as shit, so I'd rather just, I don't know, I'd rather play and do something than stand around and do nothing. So I jumped in on the practice squad. This is the weirdest thing. If you watch the movie Rudy, in the practice, he has a blue jersey with a white 45. That's his number. And they made him play defensive end on the dummy defense. They gave me a blue jersey with number 45. It happened to be yellow, but I had a blue jersey with a 45 on it. And guess where they put me? Defensive end. I've never played defensive end in my life. I mean, I played defensive line on tackle, pretty similar position, but different stuff goes on, different techniques, different things to look at, different cues, all that. Anyway, they put me on the DN. I don't know if you guys know defensive ends in pro football, but they are huge and they are strong and they're faster than you think they are. And I was not that guy. So the guy I had to go against, they put me on the one side. I had to go against the biggest guy on the team, our left tackle. And I don't remember his name, but he was a super nice guy. He was one of the first guys I met when I walked in. He was every bit of 6'6", about 300 pounds, maybe 320. Huge guy. And I had size 17 foot. He was a big boy. And it was funny. The first time after one of the first practices, we went to the chow hall, and I stood behind this mountain. I thought it was a wall. Then it moved, and it was him. And he goes, "Hey man, you play football?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, come on, let's get some eat. Let's get something to eat and come sit with me." I said, "Great." I didn't have anybody to sit with. I'm like, "Oh, now I have this huge man mountain that asked me to sit with him." I'm like, "Sweet, man, I'll do that." So we go to the thing, and he grabs a tray, and he grabs a second tray, and he puts them down. And I walk behind him, like, "Oh, this guy grabbed me a tray. That was awesome. All right, he's going to hook me up here." He starts loading both trays, and then he looked at me funny, and he goes, "These ain't for you." And I'm like, "Oh." He was getting dose trays. So I had to grab a tray, load it up with stuff. We went out and sat down, had a great conversation, talked about football. You know, everything was real nice, real awesome. Awesome guys, the whole crew, awesome guys. But they definitely looked at me sideways because I did not fit the bill physically to be on a collegiate football team. But I gave it everything I had, and I just came up short. You know, some of us are destined for other things. Maybe I was destined for YouTube or podcasting, but not collegiate football. So that became very apparent to me within the first couple of weeks. But I still wanted to be in there, you know. I wanted to mix it up, and I did. And everything was going all right. And I think they had put me on the dress list as the backup long snapper, or maybe the third string backup long snapper, actually, I believe it was. But they still had to have me on the roster, so they could only dress like 60 guys. I was number 60. You know, I had to be the last guy. So I made it, but not in the spot I wanted, and not in the capacity I wanted to be. And I realized that, and I knew that they wouldn't miss me. At the same time, college itself was starting up, and all the rest of the kids started moving in, and I already had all my shit squared away, so I was good. You know, we had to go do orientation and a lot of other things. But once all the other guys got there, all the other people, boys and girls, guys and girls, everybody, male, female, all the trans people, everybody. I don't want to offend anyone. They started the fall ball for lacrosse, which is more of a club. You're not supposed to have your team together, but you can start club programs, and they have tournaments that they go to and compete against other schools in the lacrosse club program, the fall ball. A handful of guys quit the football team to go play lacrosse because they were getting treated poorly, to say the least, by some of the coaches. I wasn't getting treated like one of the stars, but they weren't treating me bad because they knew that I was there to give them 100%, and I was going to try, and I was going to be as badass as I could. So I I ended up quitting football. And here's how I quit. I was too chicken shit to actually go up to the coach and say, hey, coach, you know, I'm never going to play. I'm never going to see the field. I'm only going to be a practice dummy. I'm only going to be a tackling dummy. I don't want to do that. I don't want to play football anymore. That's what I should have said. I should have gone up man to man, looked him in the eye, and said, Coach, I'm going to quit football. I'd rather play fall ball lacrosse. I don't have much of a future, I think, with its team. That's not what I did. So what I did is I grabbed there's the running back coaches that I was trying to work with and be a fullback, which they did put me in drills and use me a little bit. But there was that coach, but he also had assistants. So I grabbed one of the assistant coaches for the offensive guys, and he happened to be talking with another assistant coach, and I went up to the both of them on a practice and said, hey, guys, listen, I want you to let the coach know, because I don't think he was on the field at that moment. I was like, hey, guys, can you do me a favor? Let the coach know that I got to quit. I got to leave. And they're like, oh, why? And I was like, listen, I didn't get my loan. Yeah, that's it. I didn't get my loan. So I can't pay for the first semester. Now, mind you, this is just school didn't start yet. You know, we're still in orientation. We're still in the beginning parts of it. You get accepted grade-wise, and I'm pretty sure you already had to pay. I don't know. But I was like, oh, I didn't get my loan. My student loan didn't come through. They didn't give it to me, so I can't go to school. I'm quitting school. I have to leave. Maybe I can go to my local JUCO or something and just take some classes, but I can't stay here, so I have to quit. That's what I told them. And they bought it. And they're like, well, you know, it's great to meet you, and we appreciate all the hard work, and we really wish you the best. And they were really cool about it. And in my head, I'm like, man, I'm such a piece of shit. I'm quitting to go play lacrosse. And I should have just told them, hey, I'm quitting to go play lacrosse. But I didn't, and so I told him I couldn't go to school because I didn't get a loan. So I walked off the field, cleared out my locker, threw all my equipment back in the room and all that jazz, and then I literally went, when I did that, I walked over there having a meeting for fall ball. I walked over to that meeting in the, I think they did it in the library or whatever, but I went over and walked into that room. Again, I walk into that room, and everybody looks at me, huh? What is this kid doing? And I'm like, here to play lacrosse, man. Now, lacrosse I had been much more successful in. That is going to be another story. I got a 20-minute video going on right now. That was the beginning of my college career, going in early August and trying to play football and just not being able to do it. So the next step is I jumped on the fall ball team, and that's going to be part 2. I think I'm going to actually go through a 4-part series in this because there's a lot that goes into my college experience, and I don't want to make an hour-long video. So that was my collegiate football experience, knocking heads with the big boys and getting knocked around by the big boys and, you know, playing pretty decent in some of the time. But I'd say, well, 40% of the time I played decent. 60% of the time I just got the shit kicked out of me because those boys are big and gnarly. Those that left tackle, I tried to hit him once. He put his paw out and he grabbed me by the head. And I literally think he picked me up and tossed me. But he just went bloop. And it was like nothing. It was like if a 5-year-old kid came running up to me like a kindergartner and I just swatted him. That's what it was like. And I hit him with everything I had. Like I said, I'm 5'9", 190. I didn't think that was small. It's small on a football field. So I didn't have a lot of success playing that. Had a lot of fun, met a lot of great people, a lot of great dudes, quality program at the time. And they had gone undefeated their first season, and this was the second season they had this program. So they were looking to do big things, and they had a lot of really good guys that eventually got scholarships. They eventually got scholarships to go to big schools, D2, D1 schools. So great program, great facility. You know, I love my college experience. SUNY, man, SUNY Canton, which is, I'll tell you all about it. I'll tell you all about it next time. So that was my college experience. In football. That was my short-lived college football days. So if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. I'll come at you with part 2, part 3, part 4, tell you all about my college experience, what a wild time I had, and the things that I learned and learned not to do. But other than that, thanks a lot for watching. I'll hit you guys again real soon with part 2. Peace. Eventually got